Good evening, everybody. This is Radio Free Mormon, down here in the corner. Welcome to Mormonism After Dark, also known as Friday My Way, with Radio Free Mormon. Welcome to the Post-Mormon Lounge. We've got a really special guest tonight, and I may as well stop pretending that we don't. She is in the green room. She's ready to come on the show. Let me get rid of this music here. I love it as a rule, but I don't want it to disrupt from our very, very special guest that we have on the show. It is none other than Sandra Tanner.
Ta-da! I am wearing my crown.
You've got your crown on.
Yes. I've been dubbed the Queen of the Ex-Mormons.
I feel like we should be singing God Save the Queen.
Yes. Well, that would work. Yes, we would appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful to have you on the show. I know that you're saying that this is,
off, though.
I know it's sort of a balancing act.
Yes.
It was a great
I don't know how the queens really do it.
You said someone got that for you in honor of your sobriquet.
Yeah. My friend Allison Biggers, that's been on some different shows. Anyways, when I was on one of John DeLyn's programs and someone referred to me as the Queen of the Ex-Mormons or something, she went out and bought me a crown. The problem is, though, I don't know how you hook them on. I don't have enough hair to put bobby pins in it.
There must be an answer for that. Anybody in the live chat or in the comments, if you know the answer to that, just feel free to put it in there. I'm sure it'd be very helpful.
I concluded that the queens must wear wigs or something to have enough volume to stick that on with a bunch of bobby pins to make it stay. Those are, I mean, they say the ones the Queen of England wears are really heavy. You know, those old gold crowns. Mine's not that heavy.
Well, it's the thought that counts, I know.
Yes, I know.
And you look marvelous in it.
Yes. Retirement is working well.
And the tiara or the crown made the move.
Oh, yes.
What was that like? Was that really what was that like moving out of that house and into a new one?
It took me a year. When I made the deal with the developer to sell the ministry building and my house, which were two separate transactions, I told the developer that I would need a year after signing the papers. I would have to have a year's free rent to stay in the buildings after he owned them, because it would take me a year to sort through everything to move out. And it did take us a year. When you have, what was it, 45 or more years in the same house, I had 13 rooms in that old Victorian house, and it was crammed full of all of our personal memorabilia and all of Gerald's notes and papers and books. And we had a basement full of books. And then we had the ministry building that was full of books and full of papers. And then we had stuff in our garage and in a storage room. It just, well, we gave it all to the University of Utah.
Not to
You're still
BYU?
trying to figure it out.
Not to BYU, huh?
No. But Gerald did not file. And I finally started filing out of desperation because I couldn't remember what stack stuff was in or what box. So I don't know. They may never get it all sorted.
Well, it sounds like a huge task. You had some help, I hope.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I drafted everyone I could find to help sort through books and papers. And I sold off most of my library, some to book dealers, some to private individuals. We sold a lot of it on discount in the store. Once I moved, there were some that I look back on now and wish I hadn't sold, but there you are. So yeah, but it's been good. it was very scary the last few years living in my house downtown. There was a lot of transients in the alley and in my backyard behind my garage, and breaking into the property next door, into my house, into the ministry. It got really scary, and I lived there alone. So I knew it was time to retire and move to a nice little retirement center. So now I'm Sandy and Sandy.
You're Sandy and Sandy.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. It reminds me of a song from Greece. By the way, I want to talk with you about something specific,
Yes.
okay? And I know you know what it is, but the William Clayton journals are back in the news. And the reason they're back in, it is. So have you heard about this with Jeremy
Yes.
Hoop and his coming into possession of a William Clayton journal transcript, allegedly at this point made by James B. Allen, but I'm not sure there's a real reason to dispute that it is probably the James B. Allen transcript?
We know that James Allen made a transcript because that came out in a lawsuit we were involved in the 1980s over the Clayton diaries. And James Allen said that he had made a typescript, he and Dean Jesse. But he wasn't giving copies of that out to people. So I was very surprised to find out that this man had got a copy from Allen just evidently shortly before he died.
It turns out it was a year before he passed.
Oh, okay.
It was 11 months. That was one of the questions I asked Jeremy Hoop, one of the first questions I asked when he came on the show, the Mormonism live show.
Right.
I was surprised, but it was an unanswered question. So I asked it, but it was almost a year. I think he had passed away in September of a year. It might have been 24. And then the response was that the manuscript came into Jeremy Hoop's possession in the September of 23. So 11 months prior to his passing, plus the additional time since he had passed, which ended up being about a year and a half for the release of the manuscript, which coincided intentionally, as Jeremy said, with the release of his book about the manuscript.
Well, it's also funny because everybody's copy has been received through trade or friendship, not through, what would I say, not through normal scholarly channels, because the Mormon Church never has released themselves the whole diary. Now they say they're going to, which would be in competition to this fellow's printing if it all comes out. But everybody that had copies in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, they're all from somebody else who got it from somebody else, or they bought our copy that we got from somebody else. I mean, it's just a funny story of how that thing has been passed all over the place.
This is the funny story that I want you to tell our audience and your involvement in this, because when this whole thing happened with Jeremy Hoop and everybody's wondering what's in the manuscript, and then he finally sort of put it up, made it public, I think some people convinced him that was the wiser course. It was still much later, but still he did it finally. And it is up to be seen. And I've looked at it and I've read large portions of it. But once you've got this manuscript up there, and we didn't, before he put it up, before we knew what was in it, there was all this speculation about what crazy things and, must be in it. And I thought, well, you might not want to get your hopes up, because my bet is that all the crazy stuff that was in the William Clayton journals leaked out a long time ago, and you were a big part of that story.
Right. Yes. Did you want me to tell some of that, or are you still got things you want to say first?
No, that was it. That was the lead.
Oh, that was the introduction. Oh, okay. Well, back in the 1980s, and I mean, to me, this is not that long ago, but I have to think about, my word, how old would you have to be to remember that time period? And then you've got to be at least in your 60s to probably have any memory of this. But the 1980s were a really exciting decade. This is the same decade that we have the whole Mark Hoffman document scandal and murders going on at the same time as this Clayton diary material scandal. So in the early 1980s, there was talk about the Clayton Diary, but no, the church wasn't giving it out to anybody. And then evidently a couple of scholars, James Allen and Dean Jesse, two church historians, had worked together at the church office building to make a typescript of it. And I don't think that the higher ups really understood or realized that they were making this full typescript. But anyways, they were church employees and made this copy, which they each personally were hanging on to for dear life to not. Well, then a BYU student by the name of Andrew Ehat, E-H-A-T, Ehat, wanted access to the Clayton Diaries for a particular study that he was doing. And he finally was able to get access on a very limited basis. And James Allen shared some parts with Ehat. And I think Ehat went to the church office building at some point and checked at least one or two references. But mainly, I think it was from other sources that he put together what he had of Clayton extracts. So he made a compilation, Ehat made a compilation of all the extracts he was able to gather up for several pages of extracts from Clayton diaries. William Clayton was a secretary to Joseph Smith, made annotations about sensitive things in his diaries, some on polygamy, some on the Council of 50, and various day-to-day entries that are now seen in new light because we're able to correlate dates with different events to see what he recorded, how it related to events of the day. And so that's this new release of the whole thing. Some of it will not strike people as that important because you have to know how to correlate what he said with events that actually were going on in the city, or for instance, in Joseph Smith's life or Clayton's life on relation to polygamy and things like that. Well, Ehat gets his collect. He has them in his own research stuff, and then he shares them with a friend, Lyndon Cook. Lyndon Cook, down at BYU, shares an office with a guy in the bishopric of that particular ward that was using that office. And the Cook's notes were there in that office. And somehow this fellow that has access to the office sees Lyndon Cook's notes that he got from Ehat, and we aren't sure how much he understood what they were, other than he could see they were stuff that he hadn't seen before. So whatever his reasons were, this fellow takes a copy and shares it with another guy. Well, he sees the importance of it, and so he shares it with a couple of more guys. And those guys see the importance of it, and they start sharing it with a couple of more guys. And pretty soon there's a cottage industry going of this Ernest Strack that had a little bookstore thing in Provo where you could get traded photocopies of documents that not all researchers got to see. So it was kind of the Mormon underground of getting photos of things. And Ernest Strack gets a copy of this. Well, if you go to Ernest Strack's bookstore, you could pay for photocopies of anything he had. So now Ehat's notes are available to anyone that goes into this little reproduction center. So they're spread all over. Well, as time goes by, a friend of ours gives us a copy. And Gerald sees the importance of this and he's all excited. So he decides he wants to print this. So this is in 1982. In the background, we've got all this Hoffman stuff going on of him finding documents. So this wasn't the main story out there for anybody at the time. But a friend gave us a copy of the notes. So Gerald decides he wants to print it. Well, Gerald read up a little on copyright and things, wondering what his legal ramification would be if he printed it. And he realized that Ehat's comments that he had typed or written on his pages of the extracts of Clayton's diary would be things that Ehat could claim a copyright on. And so he blocked out all of Ehat's personal observations and notes that were on the pages. Now, we could have retyped the whole thing, and it would have been changed some on the dynamics of the lawsuit that came up. But anyways, Gerald didn't want to retype it because he wanted the authenticity of showing that this was a document that came from BYU guy, and this is exactly what he presented, and just black out the guy's notes so you could see the Clayton diary. With in Gerald's mind, the idea that no one's going to believe him if he just retypes it, then it's just what Gerald invented. So he wanted it to be Clayton's compilation from Ehat without Ehat's notes. So if you saw the actual publication we did, you would see the parts that were blacked out. So Gerald prints this up, and it must have caused a firestorm at BYU when Ehat realized this was going all over. Well, I don't remember. Well, I'm get the dates a little mixed up here. But anyways, when Ehat sees that we've printed these, he files a lawsuit, copyright lawsuit against us, that he had a copyright in it. And Gerald, what little Gerald had read about the laws of copyright, he was convinced that Ehat couldn't get a copyright on Clayton's diary extracts, only on what Ehat had personally written.
He doesn't even own the diaries.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. He doesn't even own the diaries, if that would make a difference.
Yeah, Ehat didn't own the diaries. He has no claim.
Yes.
Although I don't know that you could even claim copyright on them by simply owning them.
Right. Like I said, I don't think that would make any difference.
Yeah. Because I think the copyright would go with family. I don't think the church on holding things can claim the copyright. I think the copyright, even though they hold material, I think the copyrights would still go with the family. At least it used to be that way. Anyways, back to the story. So Ehat gets all very disturbed. He's afraid this is going to get him in all kind of trouble with the church leaders.
Isn't he already in trouble? I mean, has he already found out before the publication by you that this is?
Yeah, he already knew it was out there.
And I have heard that he went on a one-man mission, which likely had other people whipping him from behind to ferret out and find and bring back and destroy all of the copies that had been made.
Oh, yes. This is like gathering feathers from a pillow. He went to the guy that got him from the bishop's office. Well, who did you give it to? Then he goes to those couple of guys. Well, who did you give it to? And so he keeps running this down. The problem is along the way, some of these guys had given copies to other people, which evidently they didn't tell him about. And some that the names were passed on to him didn't tell that they gave copies to somebody. So, I mean, the whole thing was like shaking pillows and getting feathers all over everything.
I'll bet nobody told him that they gave a copy to you.
No, and ours came through an attorney friend of ours, Kent Walgreen, and he was a really great guy. He did a lot of research on Masonry and Mormonism. But then he died before he got all his research done. And I don't remember how that all came about. But anyways, he was a real nice guy, and he had shared the notes with us. but EHAT was not able to get the copies all back. And it took 9 months to a year for this thing floating around to finally get to us. At which point, I think everyone in Salt Lake and Utah, in Provo, that wanted copies had probably already got them. But we were the last guys on the line, and we had the nerve to print them.
And I want to hear about your printing them, but I also want to hear when you read this, because obviously you got your hands on this, you read it. Did you find it particularly explosive or important?
I was shocked. Clayton tells personal diary experience how he's living polygamy. And it's the craziest story about how he's married to this lady, and his mother-in-law and a couple of sisters are living in the home there with them. And Joseph Smith teaches him polygamy. And so Clayton gets permission from Joseph Smith to marry his wife's sister, Margaret. And then, and this is a real tearjerker soap opera story. Margaret was in love with a guy that had been sent on a mission. And so while he's out of town,
engaged to him, I think, wasn't she?
Probably. I can't remember how formal that was.
Okay, but she was in love with this other guy.
She was in love with this other fellow. And Joseph gives Clayton permission to court her, or I don't know, court, if you could, anyways, to try to convince her to be his plural wife. And somehow Margaret is convinced that, oh, this is going to bring glory to them and unite their family. And I don't know what all Clayton used to persuade her, but he gets Margaret convinced that God wants her to marry him and not wait for this guy. What was it? Farr, F-A-R-R?
Aaron Farr.
Yeah, Farr was the guy she really loved, but he's out of town. So Clayton presses his case and gets Margaret to marry him. In the meantime, Margaret gets pregnant, and this is in the diary that Clayton goes to Joseph and says, wow, what happens if somebody calls me out on Margaret for her being pregnant? They could charge me with adultery or something. And Joseph says, don't worry about it, brother, because if anyone makes an issue, I'll have to put you out at the church, but later on, I'll bring you right back in and set you back up again. So you don't need to really worry about this, Well, I mean, that's kind of a surprise when you read that part. Well, then the story goes on. Farr comes back from his mission, and he wants to still marry Margaret. Well, here's poor Margaret and Mr. Farr pining for each other. Farr will even agree to marry her, even though she's pregnant. And Clayton's unhappy because Margaret wants to be free to go marry Farr. And so Clayton goes to Joseph. Is there any way that we can get a divorce or set this aside or something? Everybody's unhappy, Joseph. Can't I release Margaret to marry Mr. Farr? And Joseph tells him, no, I'm sorry. Once we've had the sealing, that's eternal sealing. So no, there's no way you can break that. And we'll just pray that everyone can buckle under and learn to live with it. Well, so then it's sad in the diary because poor Clayton is agonizing over everyone's unhappy. Margaret's crying. Farr is upset. They could have set it all straight if he could just be unsealed. But no, that doesn't work. Well,
somewhere along the way, apparently they found out how to do that.
Yeah, but not in time for poor Clayton. He was 10 years ahead of his time, I guess. In the meantime, Clayton evidently becomes a convert to polygamy. And, then the next shocking one, as you read, time-wise, I can't remember just how this fits in, but there's an entry where he says he went to his mother-in-law and asks her if she would be all right with Clayton taking both his legal wife and Margaret to bed with him in a threesome. And, and I'm like, what? I got to read this again.
Well, at least they asked.
Yeah, right.
That shows some proper decorum.
But, it makes you wonder, were the women okay with this? I mean,
and then Clayton goes for the third sister, the little sister.
Oh, yeah, that's the next entry that gets you as you're reading along. All of a sudden, Lydia comes into the picture. And the sister next down from Margaret. So Clayton goes to Smith. Joseph, I'm really converted to polygamy. How about I marry Lydia, the other sister? And Joseph Smith, the man of the hour, gets a revelation, evidently on the spot, and tells him, oh, I'm sorry, Brother Clayton, but no, you can only have two sisters in a family. So no, you can't have Lydia. But by the way, you might ask Lydia how she'd feel about me. And when you read this, you think, does that sound a little self-serving? What a convenient revelation.
And then she said yes, and Joseph made William Clayton marry them.
Oh, how touching. Isn't that sweet?
He is such a dog.
Oh, man. And this is the thing that one of the things that's shocking to people today is that we've not had a good insider's view of just how polygamy worked out in Nauvoo, how these men were handling these different women. Did they have them in the same house, or were there different households? Clayton was trying to make life easy and work with women that would be in his home to where it wouldn't be obvious he was going from different houses to visit different women. However, if they get pregnant, it becomes a little bit of an issue of how did that happen? And I don't know if anything was said about Margaret getting pregnant. We don't get the further development that I know of if there was any more issues on that. But there are those kind of entries. And then there's an entry in relation to Joseph Smith. He tells in there about how Joseph and Emma are out in the buggy one day. They're in Nauvoo, and they stop at the Woodruff, not Woodruff. What's their name? Woodward. And Joseph drops Emma off there, and he goes on to oversee stuff at the Nauvoo temple. Well, as Emma's sitting there in the parlor with the family, she looks across the room and sees that, what's her name?
Flora Ann
is sitting there. Excuse me?
I think it's Flora Ann, but Flora, yeah.
Flora has a gold pocket watch. Now, I don't know how she would have been displaying this. Was she
pinned to the front of her dress like a brooch?
Could have been.
I don't know why that was the vision I had in my head.
She could have had it pinned some way. She could have been just fondling it with her hands on her lap, which makes you wonder, would she have deliberately done that in front of signal her that she was a wife, or was she just already wearing it and it just happened that she had it out when Emma came? Could make a difference on her attitude towards the whole thing, I guess, to whether she's trying to throw it in Emma's face. But Emma knew the significance of the gold watch because evidently Joseph had given one to Eleazar Snow. And so Emma immediately put two and two together. Aha, this is another one. And so when Joseph comes back to pick up Emma to take her home, Emma is mad as heck when she gets in the carriage, and she argues with Joseph for several blocks as they're driving back to their house, and evidently is pretty heated. And when they get back to their home, Clayton records Joseph's account to him was that Joseph had to use harsh measures to stop the argument when they got in the house. Now, there's some issue over the word harsh. Well, it's evidently crossed out in another word. What was the other word? Harsh or?
Scrape?
I don't remember what the other word is. Anyways, but it was originally harsh measures to shut her up. Well, that to me, when I'm first reading this, I have to stop and go back and read this again. Harsh measures. What would that mean if argument, very heated, evidently, coming home, and now you're going to use harsh measures to shut her up? Well, that suggests to me that Joseph used some sort of physical force to stop the argument, maybe slapping her, some way that he used. And then I have to remind myself that back then there was a lot of wife abuse, and a lot of men felt perfectly free to slap their wife around if she didn't obey him. So maybe you could give some leeway to Joseph's of the day, but they certainly wouldn't fit Christian norms, and certainly not the prophet of God. It's not the picture of Joseph and Emma that you're given in the movies that the church puts out.
Right. Legacy.
Yes. So Clayton's diary has that type of thing. Now, not all of them are that vivid of stories, but there are dates and.
But these are the vivid things, and these are the things that have been out for over 40 years now, correct?
Yes, these were out clear back in the 80s. Yeah. It's just that not as many people were aware of them, and now it's just getting more and more press. The more the polygamy deniers want to bring all this up, the more people are becoming aware of what the problems are.
Interesting perspective. I do want to ask you, we have a section of the show, we're actually at 32 minutes, and usually after half an hour we bring people on. I know a lot of people are going to want to see you and talk to you and maybe ask you questions. But can you give us the thumbnail of this lawsuit that happened?
Cool.
Because now you're bringing the world his light, and you are publishing the Clayton Journals in your newsletter, correct?
Well, we're discussing the court case in our newsletter and quoting excerpts from the diary. But Mr. Ehat brought a lawsuit against us in 1983, and it went on for 3 years. We had, it started out as a copyright lawsuit that Ehat lost the charge of that we violated his copyright, but the judge did say that he could win on unfair competition, that we printed the work that he was planning on printing. And a friend had told us that, well, you guys ought to appeal that. You could probably get that reversed. So we filed an appeal on the judge's decision that it wasn't copyrightable, but it did amount to unfair competition in keeping him from making money from his printing of the extracts. So we appealed that, and the 10th Circuit Court overturned the ruling on the unfair competition thing, that if you couldn't succeed in proving a copyright interest in the document, then you would not be able to prove unfair competition in printing it.
And I think the federal copyright statute by its own terms preempted the field.
Yeah. So then they, Ehat challenged that to the Supreme Court.
To the Supreme Court?
I I think so. And the judge or the court clerk, whatever, sent a thing back that no, the other ruling stands, that they weren't going to hear it. They would consider the taking on the case.
Mm-hmm.
And so they validated the 10th Circuit ruling.
Very good.
So it took 3 years for all of that. It was probably close to $40,000 in legal fees. And we were able to get enough friends to help chip in to pay the legal fees on all of this. Now, with the judge, when he gave the ruling in our favor, said that EHAT was responsible for our legal fees, which would have been at least $40,000. And our lawyer said, in discussing with him, do we want to really go forward? We're trying to figure out
the money out of him.
And our lawyer pointed out that if this guy has Mormon money behind him, which he may not have been, but we had to think of, if he's got Mr. Mattson, Mormon lawyer, defending him, that there's maybe funds available for him or something. Our lawyer told us that in drawing up all of the charges and everything, that they could contest all of that forever on the different charges and keep running up the bill or whatever, on challenges, that we had to decide how much more time and money we wanted to put into all of this. And we decided that we weren't going to ask for legal fees. I knew that EHAT was a student at BYU, and as far as I knew, had no actual assets. I don't even think he owned a home at this point. I think all he would have owned was a car.
He's judgment proof.
And so I don't want to drive him into bankruptcy.
Well, that makes one of us.
And anyways, we felt we had been blessed with the support to where it didn't harm us financially. In a lot of ways, it helped us, I guess, put us on the map. But anyways, we settled out of court. We just asked for $1. And we just stood out in the hallway of the courthouse, and Mr. Mattson handed $1 to Brian Barnard, our lawyer, and then we later signed a paper that all's clear. And last year at Sunstone, I ran into Mr. EHAT. I hadn't seen him for 40 years.
Really?
Yeah. And yes, and it was, I wouldn't have recognized him. He came to me and said, Sandra. And I said, yes. And who are you? And, oh, I'm Andrew EHAT. And I'm like, oh my goodness, talking about a voice from the past. And I says, well, how's your life been? And he says, well, it took me years to work off my debt on those court costs. And I did not say anything in response. I didn't want to rub it in and say nanner, I just said, oh, wow. And so I said, well, so have you done any research lately? Because he was at the conference. I assumed he must still be involved in researching. And he said, oh, yes, research that he'd been working on back then, he's now back to, and he's planning on doing some more publishing or writing on whatever area he had been studying in. So it was a nice exchange and friendly. I don't have animosity towards him. I think he got very bad legal advice, and someone should have told him early on, this isn't going to work.
I can't believe the church didn't even foot his legal bills. What cheapskates, huh?
Right. Yes. And so that made me all the more glad I only asked for $1 when when I heard that he spent years working off his own legal fees.
You were much nicer than I. If I'd seen him at Sunstone or any other place, my first words would have been, "Hey, pal, where's my $40,000?"
Yeah.
I'm going to share the link now, the StreamYard link in the live chat. Thank you so much for telling us that story. That is such an important part of history with the William Clayton journals, with you, I'm sure with Andrew Ehat too, a regrettable part of his history, but now it's all becoming new again, what with all the stuff that's going on. I'm going to start letting people into the studio as they show up below, Sandra, but I want to ask you this question while I'm doing it, is what do you make of this well, the new interest in the William Clayton journals? I think you started out there, but was there anything else that you wanted to say about this? We know the church has been promising it forever and not delivering, and now Jeremy Hoop has apparently the James Allen manuscript out there that's available for anybody. And what do you make of this? And is this bringing back old times for you?
Well, it's certainly resurrecting the old story of our lawsuit. It's a curious time right now with this rise of this movement of polygamy deniers that are Mormons in good standing that are now coming out saying that Brigham Young and Clayton and Kimball and Taylor and all these early church apostles connived to instill polygamy, and Joseph had no knowledge or hand in this, and that all these documents are rewritten. So this is where the Clayton diary gets into the mix, is the polygamy deniers are trying to prove that the Clayton diaries were not done in Nauvoo. They were done out here in Utah. They're late construction and have no power to prove anything in regard to Joseph Smith's polygamy. And it just, I find it incredible that even the reorganized LDS church had to come around to admit Joseph lived polygamy. And that was the basis of their whole church claim of their existence, was that Joseph didn't practice polygamy. So I'm amazed that this movement has grown so important. And now they're trying to throw all of the church leaders under the bus. I don't see how they don't realize they are actually fighting against the church. Every president since Joseph Smith has affirmed that God revealed polygamy. And current Mormon prophet Dallin Oaks, he's been sealed to 2 women. He's counting on polygamy being lived in heaven. So I don't see how they don't realize they're looking like apostates.
These are great points you've made. Can I introduce you, Sandra, to the great people from the audience who have joined us on the stage? We've got a full house right now. This stage only holds 10. There's Laura. There's Diamond Dave. He's from Mongolia right now. There's Nunya, as in Nunya Business. He's the guy with the divining rods. There is, I'm going to have to look at this in a different way. Therapy Pause. There's Therapy Pause. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
There's DG in West Texas. And there's Tina. Hi, Tina.
Yeah, in St. Louis.
In St. Louis. Great. And then there's Sandra and then there's Missinga. And then Tim Missinga. Did I get that right?
Well, it's basically missingly, but I couldn't put that in my thing, so I became Missinga.
Oh, do you want? Okay. All right.
I have other people in the house. That's why I got it blacked out, so they have their privacy.
It's kind of cool the way it is, the way it worked out with Missinga. And then there's Tim Rathbone from Bakersfield. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm doing fine. I just want to come on and say hi to Sandra.
Hi.
Hope I see you in 2 weeks at Sunstone.
Yeah.
Should catch up. Anyway, I will leave and let others ask questions so that others can come on. But I just wanted to pop on and say hi.
Right now, there's nobody behind you, Tim. Okay, you don't have to fall on your sword for nothing. There's nobody behind you right now.
Okay, well, when somebody comes on, let me know, please.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Well, while we're saying hello to everyone, I want to say hello to my family that may be watching this. I think my brother and his wife Colleen and a couple other Shertel relatives are watching this, and they don't usually watch my stuff. So, hello,
Really?
family.
Well, what everybody say hello. Hi, family. Hi, Colleen. Nice
Hi,
to see you all.
family.
Hey, Tim, Scab wants to take over. Actually, he just left being even in front of his camera. Now he's coming back. He's waving. Do you want to give up your seat to Scab?
Sure, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
just
I
enjoying
didn't know if
this.
you would.
I just want to listen. This is great. I feel so privileged to be here right now. I'm just so happy to be here. And
We're all privileged.
guys-
to have, yeah, we're here, privileged to have you in our presence too, Tim.
no, to be in your presence, Sandra's presence, the queen of ex-Mormondom. Come
There
on,
we go.
That'd be awesome.
come on.
So I guess my question
take-
becomes is
Take care. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Bye.
See you, Tim.
my question is which rendition of God Save the Queen do we do? Do we go with the original or do we go with the Sex Pistols version?
How?
I only
don't
know the first one.
I'm good with whatever one you want to use.
There goes Scab. That's Scab's back. Hey, everybody. We got some people here I don't know. Certainly Diamond Dave. I know Laura. I know some regulars. Nunya. Now, Therapy Pause. This is your second visit. Is that right?
It is. Yep.
Welcome back. DG. Hello. DG down there in Lubbock, Texas. And we've got Tina. Is this the first, Tina?
This is my first time. You and I emailed a little bit. I
Did we
sent
really?
some newscasts to some information to Rebecca Biblioteca.
Very good.
There was a shooting at my ward. Not at my ward, sorry, like in the parking lot. I don't
Great.
attend there. I'm here. Okay, RFM, I'm a huge fan of yours. I listen all the time. I'm not normally up this late. My youngest is 8, but I have bigger kids too, because of course I was Mormon and had kids young. But Sandra, oh my gosh, you are like my favorite. I'm a Christian. I left in 2010, and your work and your ministry has just been wonderful. And so, anyway,
Well, thank you. I
I am
appreciate that.
fangirling so much right now.
All right.
So you're so sharp, and I listened to all your interviews and especially your ministry stuff on the ministry
Yeah.
side of it. I really enjoy that and sharing it. Your ripple effect
Thank you.
in the Christian community
Yeah.
with ex-Mormons is very much felt. So thank you for your work.
I appreciate it.
Ex-Mormon side and the Christian side of it.
Yeah.
So I refer your stuff to people way more than the Mormon church would want.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I left in 2010, and I've my husband and I stayed married. He's active, so I still go to ward things. He'll sign me up. I win little trophies for my white chicken chili at
Oh,
potlucks.
good.
Yummy.
I still do things socially. They're nice people.
Yes, you have to find ways of building what bridges you can
Mhm.
while not compromising your own integrity.
Right. And 2 years ago, Good Friday, our bishop came to my Good Friday service at my
Oh.
church. But I filled up 2 rows at my church.
Oh, how nice.
It was wow, this is incredible.
Yes.
So the pastor knew they were coming. So
Well, I think this is one of the dangers the church has from their point of view of they're trying to blend
mhm.
in with the Christian world. And as they put out this image of kumbaya and people can visit around,
Mhm.
there's going to come a time when more and more Mormons are going to realize, oh, well, hey, I could just go to that other church and I won't have people hounding me on guilt
Mhm.
trips and jobs and cleaning the bathrooms and all those things. So
Yeah.
it could work against them. But
Yeah.
Dallin Oaks is a game changer. I think he's going to pull things back to a more orthodox position. I don't think he's as open-hearted as Nelson was trying to be, at least in public image.
Mhm.
I think Oaks is a real believer.
Mhm. Have other ex Latter-day Saints, have you guys noticed your friends use the word like Jesus instead of saying Jesus Christ. They'll just say Jesus. Or I have a friend recently I saw on social media was using just God. I'm like, wait, I thought it was Heavenly Father. Their language is changing.
Yes, because they're mimicking the
Yeah,
Christians,
yeah.
trying to
So,
fit in more.
mhm.
Well, it's like when I first left Mormonism, I never heard Mormons referring to John 3:16. And then about 40 years ago, they started getting or 20, whenever it was, that the church started having the girls be the missionaries at Temple Square.
Mhm.
I go up there on one of the tours with some friends, and this sweet girl, she said, "Oh, and I just want to tell you about John 3:16." And I said, "Wait a minute, you never
That's
used to
my
say
line. You're stealing my line.
that." Yeah.
I hate when people steal my lines.
Yeah, they're trying to fit in, but they make mistakes. They don't even know the difference of things. I had some guys come into the bookstore a while back, several years ago, and they were using the word evangelist wrong, because what they really meant was evangelical, but they didn't know the difference in the terms. And I thought, you're going to have a hard time fitting in if you don't learn the right terms.
That's silly. I mean, we all know that evangelist is a patriarch.
Well, of course. Yes, I forgot.
That's something that Mormons are the only ones in the world, I'll wager, without knowing all the ones in the world, that Mormons are the only ones in the world who believe that an evangelist is a patriarch.
That's true. Yes.
Real quick, I just want to kind of piggyback off of Sandra's point, because I brought this up before in the past, but I live in Mongolia now. And it's interesting another way that the Mormon church is like working against itself is trying to become mainstream Christian, because before, like here in Mongolia, nobody knows really what that means, right?
Right.
Now, if you are a mainstream Christian church here, you are under heavy government restrictions, very heavy government restrictions. And so by trying to be mainline Christian globally, I think that's going to backfire on them in that way, because there are many countries that restrict Christianity in general, and this country is one of them. And Tina mentioned Rebecca Biblioteca. I've been talking with her a lot lately because there has been a little fiasco that she reported on about Mongolia, and
The mission president, right? Didn't they leave? Yeah.
I have a lot of inside information on that, and I know all about the immigration laws and what went down on that. So I'm keeping tabs on the situation here in Mongolia, as well as the temple that they're attempting to build and where they're at in their process.
Is it wrong? I want to refer to Diamond Dave as Double Agent Diamond Dave now.
I think that's a great thing. Hey, I just want to say that I want to ask: is it true that the temple in Mongolia, the baptistry, right? Boy, this is a long way around. I hope this joke is worth it. It's probably not. It's actually the baptistry, the bowl of the water, the big bowl where you do is it really going to be on the back of 12 yaks? That's what I'm driving towards. Okay.
It very well could be. It very well could be.
Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, I would work on it if it were worth saying a second time.
There we are.
Everybody, Alex the Nevermo is in the bottom. Just so you know, he's in the queue. Okay, he's waiting.
You know what? I'll step out. I have to go put my 8-year-old to bed soon.
Oh, Tina, I didn't mean you.
Yeah. No, well, I can't stay the whole time. I'm already past my bedtime. This is late for me. I get up early.
Well, I'm so glad that you joined us anyway, and I know Sandra is.
Yes.
Thank you, Sandra. I love you so much. You are such a blessing to me. And what's funny with the Mormonism, like going more mainstream, I actually do more church than my Latter-day Saint friends now.
Oh, that's funny. What a switch.
I have my Sunday school class, like I have church, and we have our passing period is 20 minutes for socialization, because they see the value of that between services.
Yeah.
And so, we can go get hot chocolate, go visit. It's fun. Anyway, I'm going to take off. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet everybody. I've been watching
weekend.
everybody since you started your first episode of the Friday nights. So.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes, I watch it every week. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Nice to meet you finally.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, I'm gonna try. Can you guys hear me?
Now, who is this? Who speaks?
This is Masinga.
Masinga.
Not
Can
very
you guys hear
well.
me? Oh shoot. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Just like a little bit.
Let's see. Let me talk in this one and this one. Can you hear me now?
A little better?
We
A
can
little
hear what
better?
you're saying. Is there a
Okay.
question you have for somebody or something you want to say?
Well, I like Tina. I've been with you guys for the last 3 years, but I also have ADHD, so I don't do a lot in the chat, because if I'm doing the chat, then I can't hear what's going on in the video.
Nobody
But
can.
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk to Sandra really quick. Sandra, when I started my journey, I started watching Mormon stories, and I saw your stories, and you are a hero to me. And then I found out that I am related to you through Truman
wow.
O. Angel. Yes, we're descendants of Truman O. Angel versus you, Marianne Angel.
Yes.
And I just feel honored that we're related.
All right.
I'm super hoping that I get to go up to Sunstone and meet you.
Yes.
But I'm super, super happy that you're here. Thank you for all the work that you have done all these years. And I just love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, part of my 3,000 relatives out there.
Yes. Okay, now I'll get out so that then Alex is already in, but I'll get out so somebody else can come in.
Okay.
Love you all, you guys.
Masinga, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder how many relatives I do have out there. Wow.
She took everything I was gonna say. So do I still have a chance?
Are you a relative?
No, that's Scab. Scab, would you pass a field sobriety test on the roadside right now?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
No.
then go ahead and say whatever you want to Sandra.
I'm parked at home. Yeah, my only mode of transport is these little baby feet. And no, the only reason I'm on, to be honest, I don't actually like coming on. I've come on a couple of times, but with Sandra as a surprise guest, Sandra, I gotta tell you, man, woman, I gotta tell you, you've changed my life in ways that allow me to sleep at night, and I don't know how else to put it. So thank you so much for being you, being deviant, being a disruptor within a culture that does not allow that. And I love you so much.
Yeah.
You remind me of family. If we're not related, we're related.
Okay. Well, you can be adopted in.
Thank you.
With the law of adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You remind me of my older family that is a little bit like that. That's just like, I ain't towing the line unless it makes sense. And yeah, I gravitated towards how you delivered everything all your work. It's just incredible. In fact, it's credible. That's what I should say.
Yes, well, I appreciate that. I look back over our list of publications and I can hardly believe it myself. Well, it's been a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, it's a lifelong journey, right? So
right.
You're like the Stephen King of ex-Mormonism.
Yeah, that says
No, she hasn't jumped the shark yet.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, at least literarily speaking.
It hurts because it's true. The only disagreement among people I know is when it happened. But Scab, thank you. That was so nice of you. That was a nice tribute. By the way, Nunya, you're talking. Did you come here because Sandra's here or just to hang out?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the most efficient answer, and it's true.
Yeah.
Sandra, you're a fantastic lady. An inspiration. You're one of the few people I know who remember when 60 Minutes back in the 80s did the white salamander letters. And people tell you you're crazy because they don't remember that.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, that was like one of those Mormon moments. Why
Yes,
doesn't anyone else remember this?
Yeah. Well, even like Mark Hoffman murders, that was such a big thing. And the whole period of the 1980s was full of crazy Mormon stories. Well, I guess every decade is, but it seemed like especially in the 80s.
For sure.
I actually had a question on that.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to you, Sandra, not through Mormon stories. I was actually introduced to you from The Murder Among Mormons on Netflix. And one thing I was very curious about is I really resonated with the document examiner, Mr. Throckmorton.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to meet him and chat with him at all? Because I know you were on, but I don't know to the extent of who you interacted
I've
with.
met him and said hello, but he was a faithful Mormon, and so we didn't exactly run in the same circles.
Okay.
Throckmorton was a faithful Mormon?
Yes, as I recall.
Oh, well, he was the guy you figured out was forgery by the ink, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And that was so important that he did, because although we were convinced that the documents were fake, that was strictly on literary examination. It was not something that would hold up in a court to prove that they weren't authentic. And that was the whole problem on the court case, was how do you prove that they're forgery? If that's the thing you want to charge him with, how do you prove they're forgeries? Now, he would have been guilty of all kind of financial problems because he robbed Peter to pay Paul on not paying off one guy and then using money he had to pay off another guy. So there were financial problems. But the problem the prosecutors had was, how do you tie the documents to the murders? Because in a sense, you have two different cases, the fraudulent documents and the murders. And that was one of the questions on the death sentence. They didn't think they could get the death sentence if they couldn't prove that the murders and the forged documents were all the same case. Anyways, Throckmorton proved the cracked ink, and that was monumental when he figured that out. And so that nailed it on the documents forgeries. But the one thing the prosecutors were worried about in that case was, how do you prove that the motivation for killing Christensen and Sheets was related to his phony documents? So anyways, it was the longest preliminary hearing in the history of Utah. It was, I think, 30 days for the preliminary hearing. I mean, it was essentially a trial, but it was a preliminary hearing. All the witnesses and everyone. It was fascinating. I went to it every single day. It was a real education and court stuff. And the judge, what was his name? Jenkins. He changed his robe twice a day. He'd come into court and he'd have on a maroon coat, judge's robe. And by noon, he was so hot and sweaty sitting up that his seat was higher up than everybody else's. And he'd get so hot that the afternoon he'd come, and then he'd got a Navy jacket on. And so all week we went through this changing of colors of robes. I don't know how many different colors they have, but he went through every one of his robes every week.
I've only ever seen black. It looks like he was going back to his graduation gown from high school.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a wild time.
I was going to say, that's really interesting to hear that he's a believing Mormon, because I distinctly recall, and my brain works kind of the same way his does with like banking and finance, because that's more my field. But I remember him distinctly saying, if you bring him a document and claim it is genuine, he will attempt to prove it is a forgery.
Right.
If you bring him a document that is claimed to be a forgery, he will attempt to prove it is genuine. So why hasn't he done that with the Book of Mormon, where it was brought to him claiming it's genuine. Why isn't he? So yeah, that's interesting to me.
Well, they compartmentalize. There's different rules for different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And why do we have that Keith Erickson guy who's high up in the church history department who writes a book on exposing frauds because he's an expert?
Yeah.
That's another crazy one that I can't figure out.
There's a lot of strange compartmentalizing in the Mormon story.
Yeah.
Remember, Mormons do sit there and make up a lot of government services that especially involve compartmentalization because you've been trained to since your youth if you've been born into it.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Therapy pause.
Yes.
Hi, what brings you here tonight? Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so brave to show my face. I was kind of chatting. I am a little, I like to the anonymity of being online with public settings, so I'm being brave here. But yeah, I loved the chat last time, and I'm just really interested to hear more about Sandra. I am still in the church. Technically, officially.
Me too.
But yeah, not haven't been active for about a year, maybe. Maybe a little bit longer. I'm just happy to meet everybody, and I'm sorry I have my head down. I was looking, I was curious if there was any relation. I would just, like, we were talking about it and I got on my family tree. I just found out I'm related to Brigham Young. I feel uncomfortable about that.
Well, half of the country
Oh,
is.
well, we're relatives.
Are we?
Another family member.
My cousin, I guess, was his 27th wife, some Fairchild, and yeah, I didn't know that. So I was a bit distracted on the conversation for a minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for saying hi, though, RFM.
Yeah. Right. My family is
I
growing.
was had it on mute there, so that's why I didn't respond as soon as I normally would have. Of course, absolutely. And so great. We're glad that we're seeing your face. You know that I didn't show my face for a long time.
Yeah.
So
everyone's still active in my family except for one of my sons. So I feel like it's a little risky. But
yes.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and you didn't have to, but
no,
how do
I
you feel
know.
about
I'm
it?
trying to be brave. It's also not even church related. I just, like, even social media, I generally don't post any pictures of family. I try to not, any shot I take in my own home is like zoomed in.
Yes.
I just try to, there's just such a lack of privacy, and I don't feel like I have the mindset of someone who would use it for nefarious reasons, so I might have a hard time predicting. So I just
How do you feel about the fact that DG right now is no doubt taking screenshots and your picture will be up on his wall by next Friday?
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
It's
How did
funny
your
'cause
date
it's
go?
true.
And in the chat, she definitely knows DG's hunting.
Oh,
That's
my
how DG
gosh.
rolls. When he started showing up in this space, his wall was completely bare behind him. There wasn't a thing on that wall, including the boxers, which are mine, by the way. DG, did you want to say something to anybody like Sandra or?
Yes. If nothing else, I wanted to at least have a screenshot of me sharing the screen with Sandra. It's marvelous. My hot take, and by the way, I wore my best tie tonight. I've got my SpongeBob tie because I knew she was our special guest, so I knew I had to dress up.
Yes.
How about you bought that for yourself too?
Yeah. My hot take is that Sandra is not the queen of ex-Mormonism.
Oh.
She is the heavenly mother.
Oh, I'm elevated. All right. Yes.
I think Queen is so beneath you. I think you're the heavenly mother of ex-Mormonism because so many of us have utilized your research, you and your husband's research, and all of the wonderful things you've done to uncover the truth. I've got two quick questions.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned, because y'all survived many lawsuits from what I understand, and one that was of particular importance was a lawsuit involving the internet. Y'all had posted y'all had posted instructions on how to leave the church directly from the handbook of instructions, and the church got all upset about that. Tell it, because it had to do with links, And the way it was described, I think, with your interview with John DeLynn, was that you actually are responsible for why the internet is around today the way it is because of the links.
Yes. Well, the issue on the, where do I start? I had so many people calling and writing me asking how they get their name off the roll, because they would use a form letter that somebody had put up on the internet, and they'd fill it out and give it to their bishop, and the bishop wouldn't take their name off because they used a form letter, and it had to be handwritten out, and there were just all kind of silly responses of why the bishop wouldn't act on it. And so people called me, how do I get my name off the rolls? What am I supposed to do? They keep saying I do it wrong. And well, you get tired of writing the same letter to everybody. And so finally I thought, well, okay, I'll put some ideas up here on a article on our webpage, and I'll just put up some quotes out of the church handbook to explain how they do membership and excommunication and, the basic stuff that you would think any member should be privy to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the church doesn't tell members that didn't tell members there was a church handbook that had the instructions in it.
Oh, they didn't say there was even a handbook. Not that they.
Oh, no, it was in the ward library. And if you didn't know that, why would you ask if there was one?
True. Yeah.
So nobody knew there was instructions anywhere. The handbook was secret at that time. Sacred, not secret. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I thought I was helping. I was not selling anything. I didn't charge for anything. Wasn't trying to preempt them on it at all. I just was putting out information for people to show them what the processes were for the different actions that the church takes. Mm-hmm. Now, at this point, I'll grant that we were a little over ambitious in the amount we used, but we didn't feel that the copyright would cover that you couldn't use it in a lawsuit, because the handbook had been in process for 50 or more years at the time, and without a copyright for decades, and that the copyright they had at that point would only cover the stuff they had done in more recent time frame, not the old stuff. So anyways, we thought that it was unlikely that they would sue over us putting some stuff up, because we weren't selling it, we weren't printing it. Anyways, though, one day, two guys in black suits in a black Lincoln Continental or whatever it was they pulled up in front of the house, and they come in and serve papers on me that the church is going to sue me if I don't take that stuff off the internet by 2 p.m. or something, or they're going to sue me. Well, we got it all down, but by 5 o'clock they went in and filed on the lawsuit anyways. So it got into this big case, but in the printing, in our lawyer typing up his different arguments in that, whenever you would type in a web address, and remember, this is back in the 2000 time frame.
Right.
In computer programs, when you were typing a letter, if you typed in a web address, it underlined it. Nowadays, it'd be a hot link or whatever, you'd see a blue thing. But at that time, it was just, they'd put a line, the program would put a line under the web address. And so the judge got real upset at our attorney that, why do you keep emphasizing on all your papers websites? And and there was this website that had the whole handbook on it, another guy out of the country. And so he gives the website, and it's underlined. And so the judge is all upset that, why do you make this emphasis all the time on underlining these? And so our lawyer has to explain to the judge that when you use the program, it just does that. It underlines the web address. Anyways, so she makes this ruling that, I got to tell you, back up. So we had to take down all our material and couldn't put any printed material up from the handbook. Well, some guy wrote me an email. Well, it wouldn't have been an email back then, I don't think. Anyways, he sent me a letter stating that he couldn't understand this whole thing because this other website had the whole handbook listed. And so why would they go after me? I only put up parts. So this meant that this foreign web address keeps coming up in our documents. So the judge finally rules that if you put on your website a website address to another site that has copyright infringement material on it, the fact that you gave that address out makes you equally responsible for copyright violation as the site that you're referencing people to. This would have, if her ruling on this would have stood, it would mean no one would dare give a website address to anybody for fear that you would be held responsible for them putting some kind of copyright infringement on their website that you referred someone to.
It would have killed the internet as we knew it then.
Yeah. You couldn't tell anyone a linkage of anything. And that was just a part of the lawsuit on, that was before we even got into the lawsuit. It was some preliminary thing. But yeah, we ended up winning on that issue. And she had to, it was I shouldn't say win. It was a draw where we negotiated out of court that I agreed I would not quote more than 50 words out of the handbook in future publications. And I don't know, legal document, had all kinds of stuff in it.
Did you have to put your arm to the square as you said that?
Yes.
Okay.
I was
but
just going to say, everyone sustain Sandra Tanner as a heavenly mother by raising your right hand to the square. All opposed, nobody cares.
So the outgrowth of the lawsuit was that both parties agreed to just walk away from it with the condition that the judge would rescind her ruling on that internet thing, and I would agree not to use the handbook. And if I did overstep that, they'd haul me back into court again.
So you single-handedly saved the internet.
There we are. Yes,
wow.
The hero of the day.
Yeah. So
Sandra
real quickly,
the internet.
My second question, and then you can kick me off RFM or whatever. What is your favorite swear word?
Oh, it's a good Mormon. Gosh darn.
And after you left the faith?
Gosh darn.
It still is gosh darn?
Yes, I try not to use swear words.
Translate.
The worst I get is words that start with S and end in T.
Shoot, got it.
Shoot, yeah, and words that start with D and end in N. So there you are.
Darn.
I like words that start with D and end with M.
Sandra, thank you. And I think RFM, this was a coup to have her on tonight. When I saw the preliminary, I thought, no, that can't be right. He can't have Sandra on tonight. Really? On Matt?
Yes.
That's just, wow. But here we are. Thank you so much for what you've done.
I gave up my wild Friday night for this.
Well, you got to level it. This is mad. This is Mormonism After Dark. So you got to let loose a little bit, imbibe in some adult beverages. And yeah.
RFM is connected, man.
Oh, by the way, therapy pause. Hang on. Oh, therapy pause. Did you mute yourself?
There we go. Okay. No, it says you muted. I thought maybe
I had it.
Noise.
I want to just tell you, okay? I want you to join in.
Do you hear background noise?
Yeah, it's like a fan blowing or something, and I was wondering if it was me, and I was trying to see who it was, and it ended up being you.
It is. I will get up and go, but I did have a follow-up question, but I'm going to go shut that off first.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just minor.
Okay. I was wondering. I didn't want to interrupt and ask, but Sandra, I missed my chance to ask you a couple of questions. I'd love to know how it related, like how your first the you said you're related to Brigham Young, so who are you?
I am the great-great-granddaughter of Brigham Young and Mary Ann Angel.
Okay, all right.
So
I don't know all his wives yet, but
Mary Ann Angel was his legal wife.
Okay.
Yes, we were always proud to say we were from the legal wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now don't ask me about the next generation because we got messed up on that one. But so the next generation down from Brigham Young and Mary Ann was their son, Brigham Young Jr., who was an apostle. And so Brigham Young himself had 56 plus or minus wives. Yeah. His son, Brigham Jr., had 6 plural wives, give or take 1 or 2, and a couple dozen kids. But with his third wife, Abby Stevens was his third wife, who is my great-grandma. She married Brigham Young when she was 17, and he was, I think, 51. And she was a pretty woman. I have a picture of her when she married him. And so I can see why he was interested in her. I'm not sure why she was interested in him, but because Brigham Jr. was no looker. He was kind of a pudgy guy.
No.
So then they had a son, Walter, and then my mom, whose maiden name was Young, and then me. So straight down from Brigham Young, but on my grandma's side, my mother's mother, is the Pierce family line, and the Pierces were involved in the Mountain Meadow Massacre. And so in the list of participants of the massacre, you'll find the Pierces listed.
I think I might have a Pierce in there.
I have Boris heritage of Brigham Young, responsible for stirring things up for the massacre to even happen, and responsible for covering it up. And on the other side, I've got the Pierces, who helped carry out the dastardly deed of killing 120 innocent people.
May I ask a question? You mentioned the manual that you had, and the context is that when is that I had I don't want to go into too much detail, but I had to challenge leadership on policy and was not dealt with honestly about what the policy was, but I had gotten access to a manual I shouldn't have seen. I didn't have, So I found mine online at the time. Did you say that the manual, that was a leadership manual though? And you said that
the church handbook of instruction that's given to bishops.
Right. Okay. So I am surprised you said that was in the library at one point. I'm wondering if mine was always in the library.
Excuse me, maybe I should say probably in the bishop's office. The bishops all had a copy, and they may have kept it in their office.
So a regular member wouldn't have had access to that, right? I mean, I didn't have access to it. I just found it.
It wasn't that long ago they finally made it public when they figured out everybody's seeing it anyway.
Yeah, now they have it listed.
It was after I brought it to a leader's attention when they said, and I said, this is a bit awkward. I know you're not telling me the truth about what's in there because I've read it. He said he forgot, and I said, it's only a few paragraphs.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I mean, I didn't want to get in an argument about it, but I was just curious about that because I never really knew. But I know that not long after that, it was made public. Yeah. So maybe that's probably why I could get it, because it was easier. How was that for you when you when you had not left yet and you were finding truth and you were asking for truth and you were maybe sharing truth? How did you navigate that? Like, what was the response? Because you just get pretty pilloried, right?
When I was in high school, my mom read Fawn Brody's book, and that started her questioning. And so she brought things up to me that sent me to asking my my seminary teacher, and then later my institute teacher, questions she brought up, which didn't go over well. My institute teacher finally told me I couldn't ask questions in class anymore because I was disturbing people with my questions. But then when I met Gerald, he gave me all sorts of new questions. When we got married, we were on our way out of Mormonism. We had backed away from temple work, priesthood, and all those things by reading David Whitmer's pamphlet, and Addressed All Believers in Christ, where Whitmer says Joseph changed all the doctrines and changed the teachings, and priesthood and all that stuff was add-ons that shouldn't be there. So by following Whitmer's idea, we had knowledge of a lot of the changes that they had made through the years, which helped fuel our questions to everybody. So we dropped out of going to church, but we still believed the Book of Mormon. And the word teachers, back in the day when we had word teachers, the word teachers would come by every month, and we'd ask them all kind of questions. And so we were getting a bad reputation with the bishop, who was a real nice guy. But anyways, we still believed the Book of Mormon. We just thought everything else was wrong. So we finally decided that we were done with the formal Mormon church, and we wanted our names off the rolls. And so I wrote a letter to my bishop and told him I wanted my membership removed. They wouldn't let me just quit. In order for my name to be removed, I would have to go through an excommunication court. And they sent 2 elders to my house and searched me papers. It was just like a legal thing to come to bishop's court to be tried on my membership. I went to the court. They had 4 guys there to sit on judgment on me. They presented evidence against me to determine that I was in a state of apostasy. And I said, well, that's not hard to prove. I asked for my name to be taken off, you know. Yeah. Anyways, it was a crazy meeting.
Who were the 4?
And then
who were the 4?
What?
Who were the 4? Like I thought
the
there
bishop,
were more. Okay.
No, there was the bishop, his 2 counselors, and the ward clerk.
Okay.
Who was taking minutes. So this. It was they didn't even have a tape recording of it. Now, when Gerald took his name off the next year, they used a tape recorder at his, but mine, they just had a ward clerk taking notes.
Okay.
But when the bishop finally determined that I was in a state of apostasy, he declared me, as of this moment, I was no longer a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And as such, the church would no longer accept my tithing. Now let that
show you.
Yeah.
We'll teach you a lesson, Sandra.
Oh my goodness. You can't pay tithing anymore?
No.
Oh shucks. That's such an awful crime and such a wrong they've done to you. Really,
It's
Sandra.
unfortunate.
Hang
Really
tight.
unfortunate.
I think I found my violin.
It's playing. Overcome it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's such a pitiable thing, not being able to pay tithing to the church. Oh my God.
It got even funnier. Then he says, and I forfeited my right to the kingdom of God. And I said, can I ask a question? And the bishop says, Mrs. Tanner, we are not here to argue. And I said, well, no, I don't want to argue, but I would like a clarification. If I'm giving up the kingdom of God, am I giving up the celestial kingdom, the terrestrial kingdom, or the telestial kingdom, or all of them? And he was miffed. And I said, well, I think I could get clarification here. And he mumbled around. He didn't want to discuss this. And finally he says, well, it's the celestial kingdom, but you're risking the whole thing here with what you're doing. But well, thank you. I don't want to argue. Just wanted to clear what I was forfeiting.
That is so interesting.
It's like I didn't realize I'd be forfeiting the kingdom of God. Is it too late to change my mind, Bishop?
Well, yes. He told me that if I ever wanted to repent and come back, I could apply to do that, but I would have to answer to all the evidence that was presented against me this day and renounce it all.
By these witnesses.
Yes. They were keeping notes. So there you are.
We've got Kelly who has joined us. Hi, Kelly. Alex has been here for a while. Let's just say hi to Kelly. Everybody say hi to Kelly. Is this your first time joining us, Kelly?
It is. It is. Sorry, I've lost my voice. I'm just trying to get it back.
This is very bad timing on your part.
Yes, it is. But I had to get on.
I want you to try and just rest that voice for a second. Alex has been here for a while. He's been incommunicado, and I want to make sure he has a chance to talk. And he probably has something he wants to say, Sandra, too. I don't know.
I'm going to go turn off my background noise.
Oh, yeah, great. Thank you. Pause.
Sandra, I've checked the oracles of the Lamanites, and unfortunately, we are not related.
Oh, well, wait a minute. If you're Native American, we might be.
How?
Well, because way back in my genealogy, I've got a Cherokee great grandma.
You're related.
There we are. See?
Wow, really? I was going to say you may not be related now, Alex, but you may become so through your righteousness.
That's possible. I want to borrow a joke that was put in the chat by Trevor, and I want to tweak it a little bit. So your petition to exit the church, was it your Sandra Mander letter?
Yes, I was close.
Yeah. That's all I got. That's all I got. Was to say hello and to say that we are now related and to make a bad pun. But
you're
thank you, Trevor, for that joke. Let's see.
All right.
Standing Trevor now.
I'm here till Thursday. I'm here till Thursday, guys. Try the veal.
Waka waka.
I don't think I'm related to Sandra. The best I got is Jack Anderson.
Oh, I don't. No, it doesn't resonate. Well, if
we're talking about the Jack Anderson from around the DC Beltway. Got Jack Anderson.
That
one. Yeah. That one. Whenever you went over to Jack's house, you never ate anything that he didn't buy that day.
I never went to his house.
Yeah, no, it's a family member. That's the guy that G. Gordon Liddy admitted to. Yeah, we were trying to kill this guy. Figure out how to get rid of this guy.
Oh, hey, Gerald studied all of that Nixon stuff. He was a fanatic on that. He studied all kinds of Kennedy assassination. I don't know. I was surprised that my kids didn't get into some sort of forensic stuff or something, but I don't know how many times my kids saw the Zapruder film, and only people that follow the Kennedy case would even know what I'm talking about. That's how old this is.
What frame is it, Alex?
Do you know the Zapruder
Alex
film?
probably knows what frame it is.
There was a guy that photoed the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah,
Mr. Zapruder.
The Zapruder films are what Stone based his movie on. The JFK.
Yeah.
I think it's a Z. I think it's a Z. I think it's Zapruder.
Zapruder? Yeah.
Right, I think you're right.
Yes, that was one of the offshoots of Gerald's studies, was studying Kennedy stuff. Gerald watched all of the Nixon hearings. Oh, my word.
A lot of people were watching. My mom was watching those.
Yeah. Yeah, we're old.
Well, apparently D. Todd Christopherson used to clerk for, what was it, Judge Sirica or somebody who was sitting on this whole thing and involved with the Watergate thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So he's always been close to scandals, it appears.
Man.
Good old D.
He got the tapes. He got the Nixon. They were the first to get the Nixon tapes. So he was yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I want to make sure you have a chance to talk. I also want to let everybody know that below we've got in the queue Dow in North Central someplace. I just want to let you know that there's another Sirica. Thank you so much. I thought that sounded right. I'm being confirmed by Jay Bala.
I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and hop out so that way someone can hop in.
Who is that?
It's Nunya.
Nunya. Okay, thank you so much, Nunya. Great seeing you. Have a great weekend, okay?
You too. Take care, Sandra. Pleasure meeting you.
Thanks.
Thank
All right, now you can speak, RFM. Go.
Thank you so much. Talk over me again, and you'll never work in show business again.
I don't care.
BMF Silver Lake says, thank you with a nice super chat. That's all I'm trying to do is give give a little attention to BMF Silver Lake. Thank you so much for that super chat. Now, let me see here if I can get rid of you. And by that, I just mean take you out of the studio. Thank you so much, Nunya. We'll talk to you later. Here's Dow in Central someplace.
Whoops.
Where are you, in Central Texas?
North Central Texas, Dallas Fort Worth.
Really? It sounds like you and DG might be having some kind of, I don't know, rumble later tonight.
It's a Texas thing. I saw somebody else from Texas and I had to join in, so I just had to be there. I'm about 30 minutes away from Fairview, so some of the Fairview Temple stuff has been kind of interesting to kind of watch on and be part of.
That has been interesting.
Did you go to any of those meetings?
I didn't go to the meetings. What was interesting is, I am a member of the Allen Stake, and after the whole scandal with the signs disappearing.
Hang on, tell us about the signs and the scandal.
So the new mayor, when he came on board, he's asking politely that the church reduce the size of the steeple, make everything smaller, and there were some signs that went up around Fairview, and just bringing attention to it. And those signs were up one day, and the next day they were gone. They were out. They were pulled down. I thought that was an interesting development, but a few days later, the Allen Stake president sent out a letter in email to the stake saying, please don't touch the signs. Please obey. Even though if we don't agree with the law, please don't mess with the signs. It was just interesting that the stake president would have to step in and say something about it. I just thought that was a pretty interesting little tidbit.
I'm glad he did. Shows a little integrity.
A little bit, yeah. Very good. But
now, thank you so much. Hey, and I don't want to skip over Kelly. Kelly, first time here.
I can't
I'm guessing Sandra was the big draw.
Yes, clearly. But also, I don't know. I've been watching for a while. Me and my husband, he's right next to me, but we're kind of newbies in this, just little babies. But we're enjoying that. My brother and sister-in-law introduced me to RFM and Bill, and you guys are just hilarious. So enjoy getting on every week. It's fun. But
thank you.
I was gonna come on and ask a question that people were wanting to know in the chat, but then I was also thinking about a question that came to mind. So I had a neighbor that she left Mormonism and she goes to a nearby evangelical church. I don't know which one, but she invited me to come. Anyway, I went, and then they had like a Bible study thing, a women's Bible study, like one Monday. So I went anyways. And after that, anyway, it wasn't, I'm like, this isn't my thing, but there was a lady there that said, y'all should come to your bookstore, Sandra. It was, this was a while ago, but you were making an appearance one Saturday morning, and I thought, oh, I would love to go. And I kicked myself in the butt for not coming. So hopefully you'll do one another time soon. I don't know how often you do that at your bookstores, but I would love to come.
Yeah, it's not my bookstore. It's Utah Christian Research Center.
Okay.
That has had me speak there several times since I closed down my regular bookstore.
Okay.
And so I'm not a regular guest, but they ask me every once in a while to come and do a presentation on something.
Okay.
So
well,
nothing scheduled at the moment.
I'll have to keep my eyes out.
Yeah.
But yeah. And anyway, this lady that was like, yeah, I should come. Anyway, and she said, she just started talking about all this stuff in Joseph Smith. And she said, do you know why? And so actually I have a question for you, Sandra.
No.
So she said, you know why they made the age of accountability, like for baptism, 8 years old, right? It's like, I have no idea. And so that's my question, actually, Sandra, is do you know why? Because she said it, and I have not heard this anywhere. My husband hasn't heard of this anywhere. I don't know how true this is, but she said that Joseph Smith made it 8 because that was the age of his youngest SC victim. So which was a shock to me. I'm like, what? So
yeah,
anyway,
no.
I'm here to I need to clear this up. What is the truth? What, because I had never heard that, and I've not found anything.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Really?
Okay. Back in so from 2006 to 2008, I was pursued pretty aggressively by some TBMs who wanted me to join. I have some experience in ministry, so they saw me as one of those golden, parachutes or something. Someone that has money and or reputation and or skills that can benefit the church. And
Oh,
when I asked about the 8-year-old determination for baptism, because it lines up almost very closely to the first sacrament you take as a youth in the Catholic Church. They told me exactly, as you said, that it was because of the youngest child of someone connected to Joseph Smith, but they were not as specific as you were. But it seems to be something in the Mormon zeitgeist.
Yeah, no, I think that's all just urban legends.
I believe she said it was specifically Joseph Smith, but maybe she said what you said and anyway, but I had never heard of that. She was so sure. And so anyways.
Well,
I
Alexander
don't
Campbell,
know.
that Joseph Smith followed
Sandra.
quite closely in a number of things.
Do you know?
Alexander
I don't know. What do you got for me there? Anything?
Yeah.
We're trying.
Hello. I'm sorry. I was goofing around trying to look something up because I recalled that Alexander Campbell had a similar idea. Joseph Smith took a ton of stuff from Alexander Campbell, or at least a lot of the teachings parallel it.
Can you hear me?
Now, I don't know. I can hear you. Can you hear me, Kelly? Kelly, can you hear me?
Can you hear
Whoever can hear me, raise your hand.
There we go. Now I can. Yes. Sorry. It got quiet for a minute there. I couldn't hear anybody. So
Sandra,
yeah,
can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
Yes, I can hear you
I don't know
fine.
what happened.
Okay. Anyway, I'm saying is Alexander Campbell says infant
now I
baptism
can't hear
is no
RFM.
good.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Alexander Campbell said no infant baptism, no good. You have to be of an age to have faith in Jesus before every sin of your sins before you can be baptized. He didn't.
So to answer Kelly's question, you're asking about why is 8 the age of accountability?
What?
So I just Googled it because I've heard different things in different denominations, and the general consensus of the internet is based on the Bible passage Romans 8:7. The young child is covered by God's grace until they become spiritually conscious of defying or resisting him, which is around 8 years old. Per that Bible verse is the general consensus.
It happened a lot earlier with my kids.
Yeah. Now, whether or not that's true in reality is a completely another story, but at least this is the general consensus of what different denominations say across the board.
Well, except for those who believe in original sin, of course.
Yeah. I wish I could hear what RFM is saying. Maybe I'll jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, do that, please. Okay.
Yeah, jump out, jump back in. That might fix it.
And while she's doing that, roast beef is entering the studio. Roast beef, how are you doing there in California? Are you having some roast beef right now? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yep. I can hear you.
Okay. Randy, can you hear RFM?
Okay.
Randy Bell, roast beef.
Randy, can you hear RFM?
Nope.
Yeah.
Can't hear you. There we are. Randy.
I feel like I'm Scrooge going back in time to watch my younger self.
Roast beef. Hey, Sandra. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
JFC.
I'm not hearing you.
What the Aaron Farr is going on?
Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear
RFM,
me?
I think there's a delay because RFM, your audio keeps cutting out for people who are coming in late. You may have to leave the stage and come back in yourself.
Okay, I'm going to leave and come back, and everybody keep your clothes on. Okay, don't do anything that will get me arrested.
Don't exit, because if you exit, it kills the stream. So drop to the backstage.
Oh man, that was close. I almost. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Welcome to the Alex and Diamond Dave show. We hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far.
Dr. Bell, can you hear
I can
me?
hear you, Diamond Dave. I can hear you both. Thank you.
Dr.
Now,
Bell,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Dr. Bell.
No.
Somebody ask Randy a question.
Randy,
Randy,
are you there?
Can you hear us at all?
Maybe I'll drop out and try again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty fortuitous. I had a Dartmouth question. Is that Sandra and Randy are both on the same? This is kind of cool.
I've got a question for Sandy and
Sandy.
Yeah.
Who's getting so familiar?
My family call me Sandy.
You know what? You mentioned it earlier, so I feel like I don't know, man. I'm just going with my
okay.
I feel the spirit. Okay.
All right.
He's serious.
What I find the most difficult is, okay, I leave a tradition that is, high demand, all this kind of stuff. I know that you found something. You found a mission, a belief in a supernatural, if you will. I struggle with that, and so I'm kind of curious, and I don't know if I'm just the only one. Like once I lost,
needs to discover the mute button.
Once I lost my faith, that was it, man. I felt like everybody was a liar. I felt I have no trust in anything. Right? I'm jaded. I'm burnt. You know.
Well,
up there, RB. What are you saying? What do you got?
To me, the Christianity. Are we all talking at once?
No. What's going on is the whatever StreamYard is losing sync between the people on stream. It's happening with another channel that I'm also watching the chat on. So yeah, it's just StreamYard being crazy. So Randy can't hear anybody, but he doesn't realize it yet.
Yeah. Randy,
were you trying to say something, Randy?
I can hear everybody like twice. It's just it's
you cut in and out.
Sandy, did you catch my inquiry though?
Yes.
I guess what I'm asking is, how did you discover the fraud and then find something?
Well, we never lost our belief in God. We just felt that the Mormons didn't have the right take on it. We went back. Of course, at the time we left, we still believed the Book of Mormon. So we're studying the Bible and Book of Mormon, and we realized that the Bible had a lot of stuff like the Book of Mormon did, talking about Jesus. So we kind of went backwards out of Mormonism, piece by piece, back to the primal elements of Mormonism, and that got us back to God and Jesus. So then we scrapped the Book of Mormon and just went with the Bible. And I'm not saying there is no historical questions that bother me, but I find the Gospels credible. I can believe that there was a man named Jesus. Now the question is, did he really resurrect from the dead? And I personally believe the stories and the accounts in the Gospels. I understand the problem of going to a regular church and the pushback on control and the problems that come with a congregation. That everyone doesn't agree with everyone. That's why there's different denominations. So it took us a time to figure out a church home. And that's individual choices of things. But my basic belief system is based in the New Testament, and I don't feel bound to have to support everything my pastor says. I'm free to disagree with him. I don't want to be in a controlling environment. I want a church that has, for instance, open financial books, that finances are transparent, because I've seen how a large corporation can really screw up money. So there are different things that I see problems within the regular Christian community, but I don't think that negates the truth of Christianity.
What was impetus though that
what?
When you're dealing with sort of the I'm going to call it the fall, the absolute holy shit moment, right? And now what, right? So we'll expose it, and then what? And now we want to, like, are you taking a step back and still leaning on the fable, like the holy fable, right? Like, and then finding, I guess, this is what I guess I'm asking, right? Is how come I haven't found this? I'm Mormon, just like the rest of us all here.
Well, I'm not Mormon, and I don't have any sympathy towards Mormonism. I don't think it's a valid church. So it's a matter of going back. You first have got to deal with the New Testament. Can you believe in God? Can you believe in Christianity? You're not ready for looking for a church if you aren't even sure on God.
I think Mormonism screwed me so hard, right? Like screwed me so hard that I feel like, okay, I just got out of jail and I don't know how the world operates. Everybody's actually, straight up. I have problems that way, right? Like that's what Mormonism did to me. It drove a screwdriver in my head and twisted it to a level that I can't even be. I can't trust. I have a hard time trusting anything.
So I hear what you're saying. I kind of in the same boat when I stepped back a little bit. What do I believe in? Where is that at? One of the things that I found that helped me out is genealogy. Looking back in the past, I found out that we brought up Cherokee. My great grandmother was a part of the Trail of Tears. I figured that out. I did all the documentation. I sent in. I'm a Cherokee citizen now. I've found that looking into that Cherokee belief system has helped kind of supplant some of the stuff that Mormon, like you said, Mormon. My parents joined when I was 9 years old, so I was raised. I'm 56. I was raised Mormon. That was all I knew until a few years ago, about 3 years ago, when everything just kind of came crumbling apart. Dartmouth was a part of that. The Dartmouth story between the Dartmouth connection. That just suddenly, wow, this is just really coming apart. But being able to find another, I had a Cherokee storyteller told a story once upon a time that I went to, and he talked about how in the beginning the creator had all the animals around, and they all wanted to have, they're all kind of, they didn't have any shape, but the bear came to him. I want to be big and strong, so I don't want to be hunted, and so he could give him claws. And then rabbit came around and said, I don't want to be hunted by anybody. I want to hear people coming around. So he gave him ears, and that goes on and on. But ultimately, it comes up to the eagle. Eagle came up to him and said, "What would you like as a gift from the Creator?" And Eagle says, "I want to come back and be able to visit you anytime I want to." And so, okay, that's why eagles are considered sacred in a lot of the Cherokee Indian cultures. Is the eagle feathers have been in the presence of the Creator at one point. And when I heard that, it was just goosebumps and everything. That hit me harder than anything I had ever learned in Mormonism. And something that's just my body saying, I guess, hey, that's something that is relevant to you. That's my great grandmother. This is what I should have been taught almost. I felt like from my grandmother or my great grandmother, but all the persecution in the 1920s and 1930s in Oklahoma and the reservations, she said, nope, I don't want to be Cherokee, or I'm white. So we kind of said nope, and that's where it was kind of lost. But
I get those feelings from reading the Gospels. I mean, I read Jesus' words, and to me, they speak truth to me.
Yeah, hey, brother Dow, man, that sounds amazing. If the Mormon Church, for example, just admitted that they're into folk magic, just like what your story just sounded. It sounds like a fantastical story that, it resonates or it doesn't. But the Mormon Church doesn't do that. What they do is they go and screw your fucking brain, and they basically mess with you to a point that you give up all your money, right? Because you're looking for these deeper meanings in life. And I can't get any of that. I've been so jaded. That's where I find that's my stumbling block. I don't know if there's a God. I don't know if there's truth anywhere. You know what I mean?
Can I jump in?
Hey, go ahead, Don.
Yeah, so from my perspective, I was Hindu before I joined the Mormon Church, and I left and I went back to my traditions. And one thing that just kind of resonates with what everyone is saying is, in order to sell a lie, you have to have elements of truth.
Yeah.
Right. And so what Mormonism does is I've seen so many similarities in Hinduism. That's part of what drew me to the first place, because, hey, this is an aspect of Christianity that's virtually very, very similar on the surface, right? But when you do a deep dive, then it conflicts. And I think that just coming from the background that I do, one of the things that helped me to not be as jaded is to forgive myself for participating in the first place.
Yeah, that's
that has helped me instrumentally. And instead of blaming myself for believing in the church and participating in the church, I have found that when I say, you know what, in my case, I was a convert at 31. Okay, I joined. This isn't, like, I'm not stupid. This is simply an experience of the journey that is my life. And when I shifted to that mentality and was able to forgive myself, then I can look back at Mormonism and say, obviously it wasn't good that I joined, but there were good people that I've met. And there are things that I learned while in the church that I can use to help others around me, even if they don't share my Hindu faith.
That's the difference, right? I was born in. I'm one of these. I'm like Sandra.
Mhm.
I go right back to Parley P. Pratt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
even then, it's what? It's not your fault.
Sandra says we were proud that we weren't the second wife.
No.
And that is real, dude. Now, and by real, I just mean in the Mormon culture. That is like, man, you're walking with a big stick, dude. When you can claim that and go, hey, guess what? I just showed up to your ward, right? And it's a big, let's just say it, it's a big dick swinging contest, okay?
Yep.
What it is, and that's and so when you're jaded,
he meant gosh darn Sandra.
And Sandy knows this. When you're jaded, she's backing up, going, "Hey, let's lean on the traditions that are established." And sorry, Sandra, I don't mean to bring this up as a slight to your beliefs, your anything, your spirit. As far as I'm concerned, I hope I still have a chance with you. I would love to take you out. I'd love to you're just such a loving human being. My grandmother used to say to me, love you. And I want to say to you, love you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Scab?
Yep.
Okay, that's what you're going. All right. I didn't know if I was calling. I'm wondering I wonder if this resonates with you. And Sandra, I'd love to know, like, kind of piggybacking off of what Diamond Dave was saying. And Sandra, I'm wondering if you felt this too. This is something I experienced. So that lack of trust, because it's so big. I mean, it's tied to our whole identity, right? And I think having pioneer heritage, I was born into the church, but it was kind of a weird. My dad was a convert, and then I fell away when I was a preteen, and then I consciously joined, came back to church when I was an adult. But I think that referring to my own pioneer heritage was me grasping for identity outside of myself. And I think the church does, just in many ways, many levels, teaches us to do that, to not really be of ourselves. It's so enmeshed. And so when you lose that, you feel lied to. There's a huge lack of trust. For me, I think I also went through a phase of realizing that there was a lack of my own ability to trust myself, to trust my own instincts. And what I heard Diamond Dave saying, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I had to forgive myself for that. I don't know that I really worked on forgiving the church institution for dishonesty. It's not really my priority right now, to be honest. It just is what it is. So I had to work on forgiving myself and then allowing myself to realize that I'm smart, and a lot of smart people get duped, that it's just a matter of we just need to be emotionally invested in things sometimes. I don't know. Is this resonating? Sandra, did you have any when you stepped away or when you started, did you ever go through that where you were kind of mad at the church and mad at yourself a little bit for having believed it?
No, mine was more of the identity thing of, as a Mormon,
I just lost my volume.
I knew who I was and where I fit in life. The pioneer stories were my culture, my people group, and all. Every good memory I had related to the Mormon church somehow. And so to step away from Mormonism was to be like wiping the slate clean, and you're starting over. Well, who am I? Where do I fit in the world? What group do I belong to? Where do I build my community of friends? And it was a very lonely time. We went years before we formally joined another church because we were very worried about getting trapped in this scenario again of trusting in men that claimed to know the answers religiously, but you weren't sure how far to trust them. And we didn't want to fall in that trap again. So we spent several years just visiting around different places and doing our own Bible studies and our own devotionals.
I can't hear anything. My volume like keeps cutting.
Try disconnecting and reconnecting.
I'm watching it on an iPad. I don't know. I missed everything you said, Sandra, but I don't expect you to repeat it again. It's okay.
Oh, no.
Fortunately, there's a replay function.
Oh, it was absolute revelation. Yep. But sorry.
On right now? Not right now, but later. Yes. Got it. Forget it. Yeah.
Sandra?
I don't know why it keeps doing that. That's why.
Okay.
Things
Sandra, this is Laura. I'm right next to you. I'm the gray circle. I
have no idea what that means.
My icon is just a gray circle.
Okay. I think it's. I got it. Okay.
Number one, and please, I hope you don't take this the wrong way in any way. I'm gay, and I've had the fattest crush on you for the longest time. I will never impose myself. I just had to unburden myself of that. You are the perfect woman.
We can be friends.
You shot your
shot.
No,
there is no shot to take. She's always been and always will be married to Gerald, and she's not gay.
No.
So, I don't mean to offend you with that, but
no, that's fine. I appreciate the sentiment though of feeling connected and loved, and that's good.
And somewhat, what's distressing to me, I am a person of faith, not Christianity, but in times I find the most value in the New Testament, particularly the Gospels,
right?
Some of the epistles. Acts is more of just a chronicle and how they lived in the early days, which was socialism. I'm turning more and more to the new Pope to hear about messages of Christ. I'm finding a lot of the evangelical community filled with hate for their fellow brothers and sisters and verging on idolatrous worship. I don't know if you have the same thoughts about that.
Unfortunately, well, I haven't followed the Pope, but so I don't know. I can't speak to what he's preaching. He seemed like a nice guy, but I don't know anything about him. In the Christian community, I think we're going through a really rough patch right now with Christian nationalism. And I don't like to get into politics, but I think it's been a disservice to the church to go into politics and Christian nationalism. And I mean, well, let's stick with the teachings of Jesus. We don't need to be putting out our political agendas as though they're from God. I don't see the New Testament giving us a political roadmap.
To me, they're turning into the Pharisees. They're turning into the Pharisees.
Yes, it's unfortunate.
How do you fight against that? Because there's so much goodness in Christianity. And unfortunately, the way the loudest voices in this country for Christianity right now are the ones that are I find it very hard to believe that they've ever read a word of Christ.
I've got a feeling that there's a difference between the loud voices you hear in political fora versus the loud voices that are heard in religious fora, or in other words, just preaching religion. The ones that don't get covered on the news, that aren't asked to be interviewed.
I'm talking about rank and file.
Unfortunately, that's true of some congregations. And it's a problem that the Protestant churches are going to have to struggle with for some time, because politics has become too enmeshed in too many of the churches. And I have to watch what I say around some of my Christian friends because I don't want to cause division. But I try to set an example of love and acceptance, and wanting community with anyone who's wanting to follow God. But I don't have the answers on all of that, other than to try and set a good example in my own life. But if I were in a church that was very strong on the political pressure points today, I would probably leave and go to another church. And I don't know how long it's going to take for some moderation in things. It doesn't seem to be happening today.
Well, thanks
if you
for the question,
get
Flora.
a chance to listen to the Pope, he's
a
really
great
a
guy.
beacon of light.
Yeah. And it's
Thank
true. He
you.
wears a funny hat, by the way, Laura, in case you didn't know.
Ah.
RD, how's your stuff working? Can you
I
hear
think
me?
it's working now. Sorry about that.
Well, thank goodness. We were all very concerned. I was getting all sorts of notes from Alex telling me what to, giving me advice. It was going to come out wrong. I didn't mean it that way, but giving me advice as to what I could tell you to do to get you back on. And you went ahead and did it anyway. Because I left for a bit and went and got my phone so I could text you. And then I saw that you were texting me saying, could you put the address back up? And I did. And you're here.
It's all good. Hey, I just have a couple quick questions for Sandra that I was going to ask you at the Olive Garden, Sandra, but I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
The first one is on EHAT. Are you familiar with the name Stephen EHAT? He's
No.
with the Interpreter Foundation.
No.
Okay, then never mind then. Well, I'll just tell you quickly that he wrote a 300-page diatribe going after RFM and me, mainly me, on the chiasmus episode. I know we talked about it. I don't know if you saw the episode, but it got a response, that's for sure, including the Interpreter Foundation just losing their mind.
Oh dear.
Because I just exposed, the magic trick of Joseph Smith, how he created chiasmus and how it was very deliberately taught at Dartmouth.
Right.
So I just thought,
back then they knew about parallelism. They didn't use the word chiasmus, but it's the same concept.
Yeah,
So
you
the
lay down
concept is
heads, you go down the list, you pivot, and you go right back up. And they did it something like 400 and something times in the Book of Mormon. They fill up a long book with that technique. They double the volume.
Right.
Okay, so here's my real question. And it's a weird question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And that question is, that's never stopped me, by the way. My question is, like with the 1832 account that you and Gerald did, that was just
genius. Of the first vision, for those that aren't following that.
Excuse me, for the first vision account, which was backdated. at the time the Mormon Church was organized, there was zero discussion of the first vision, zero discussion of a priesthood restoration. All of that was created after the church was organized and backdated.
Right.
So, but finding the 1832 account of the first vision, in my mind, is one of the most epic moments to blow the doors open on the secrets of Mormonism. So my question is, are there things in the church vaults that you suspect that they have, or that there's innuendo or rumors that they have, that you don't have the evidence like you did with the 1832 account, but nonetheless you've heard the rumblings or the whispers over the years that could be in those vaults? Because you know the church won't cough it up until they're busted. So I'm just wondering if you have any hints of that top sacred information out there.
I haven't heard any rumors of some known document that a blockbuster that someone is hoping to come out. I'm sure that they have a lot of things in their vaults that would add light, for instance, to how polygamy really was working, and probably more stuff on Nauvoo that would surprise us all. But they have, I'm sure, stacks of diaries that they've never even gone through yet. So I don't know of a specific item that we're all waiting breathlessly to see, other than a few of the church leaders' diaries that have not been made available yet. But no, I'm not privy to something of the nature like the 32 account.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate the update on that.
Great questions. Roast beef. Hey, Brady the Apostate, welcome. You know why I'm calling you roast beef, Randy?
RB, I guess.
Yes, it's that clever. Brady, welcome. I understand you have a question for Sandra, and I'm only saying this because it's at 2:11. We're staying up a little bit late because we've got Sandra here and everybody wants to celebrate, but we are going to have to go here presently. By the way, is there anybody here who wants to vacate so that, who is it? I'm so sorry. It is Nunya. Is he even back here yet? No, Therapy Pause apparently is back. Nunya is back and Therapy Pause. So there's two people waiting in the queue. Just want to let you know, we'll be leaving here in a second anyway.
There, RFM, I'll vacate, no problem, man. Peace out. Sandra.
Scabbers, you have a great weekend. Good seeing you, man.
Okay.
Love you there, Sandra. And then,
all right. Good on you.
Shout out to you, RFM. Okay, Alex, Diamond Dave, DG. Okay, even you fucking know. Okay. And
He means gosh darn.
RB and Brittany. Okay, peace out, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Nunya.
Bye. Oh, now Kelly's wanting to enter the studio. This is bye, Scab. Oh my gosh. Now who do I put on? Now this is terrible. Okay. I was talking with Nunya. Nunya's got to come on. I'm so sorry. Everybody, Nunya's got to come on. Nunya just wanted to say something to like Randy or something. Is that right, Nunya?
Yeah, I want to speak to the roast beef.
All right. Go ahead. Please keep it brief and heartfelt.
Absolutely. Okay. Here it is, roast beef. Basically, there's a YouTuber called Esoterica. I think you ought to talk with him about some of the... RFM, are you?
Hello? Randy, are you calling me? Randy, what the hell are you doing? Hello, Randy. Do I actually have to call you?
What is going on today?
I think he's
my
on
God.
the delay. Okay, hang on just a second here. Okay. It's hard to tell, but let's make it more confusing by calling one speakerphone, shall we?
No joke.
Hi.
Randy, can you hear me?
Hey, Randy, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, I was just
You're
checking
killing
out.
my
I didn't want
show.
to be a pig. Huh?
No, you're fine. You're great. We love you. It's just that you were looking at something and we could hear me playing in the background. It's like you were recording it and playing back what had already happened.
I do not know what's going on with my system. I apologize. Am I clear now?
Yeah.
You're fine. But Nunya was saying such.
What's that?
Why am I still hearing you? I don't see you, but I'm hearing you. Oh, because you're on my
Because
phone.
you're on the phone with them.
You just left the screen.
No.
It almost freaked me out, man. I thought, wow, this is like Houdini style shit.
I asked my questions.
Grab a
Okay, but
tenner.
Nunya had some nice things. Nunya came on the show just to say some nice things
Well,
about you.
it was more like a suggestion of someone to reach out to about some of the.
Shut up, Nunya. Hang on. Nunya, hang on. Yes, would you please?
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Okay, here comes RB Nunya. Get ready to go, okay? He didn't hear anything the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I've got help. Let's see. No, he's not back.
I have a question for Sandra real quick.
I do
if
too.
Nobody minds. Go ahead. I'll let Brittany go first because
Yeah, would you, Brittany?
Yes,
go first.
Sandra. You said you moved to like a retirement community or something?
Yeah, an HOA community.
So you got some new friends and new neighbors, right? Do they
Well,
know how-
I have neighbors. I don't have friends.
Well,
Ooh.
not yet.
Well, I'm not. I shouldn't. That sounds wrong. Wait.
Your reputation precedes you.
I don't think it's anything to do with a reputation. I think everybody is career move-ins or something, and and I think they're all afraid of saying hello for fear I'm a Mormon.
Oh, so they don't know. They don't know how famous you are yet.
No, I think they all think I'm a good Mormon, and because I was friends with the little Mormon lady that lived next door to me, and then she's now gone to a rest home, and I think they all think I'm Mormon because there's a lot of them that aren't Mormon in my community. When I moved here, I was worried that I thought, oh man, what if I move into a place that's got all Mormons, but it turns out I think there's hardly any of them in here. Well, the bishop lives kitty corner from me, but he says hello to me, but we aren't friends. But anyways, what was the rest of your question?
I was just wondering if everyone knew you were famous yet.
No, they don't. And when I first moved here 3 years ago, I just told everyone that I was Sandy because I thought I didn't think they would necessarily connect Sandy with Sandra Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't even say my last name. I just told everyone I was Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
And so served me well so far.
Well, thanks for everything that you've done for the community. It's really been interesting learning like ex-Mormon history. I just joined like the ex-Mormon community last year, and it's just like there's a whole culture, honestly, and like a history to what's gone on in the community. It's kind of interesting.
Right.
So thanks for being a part of that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That was so nice. Thank you very much for adding that. Sorry, can you put the link up again? I knew that's what he was going to be asking. Sorry, put it up in the live chat right before he did. It occurred to me all of a sudden I'm not seeing him. And why am I not seeing him? And the reason is because he's looking for the link and he can't find it because I haven't put it up recently. So hello, Papa. Hang on a second. Kelly, I'm sorry. I apologize. We're bringing RB on over because Nunya has something he has to say. Go, Nunya.
Okay. Can you hear me, Randy?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Outstanding. Randy, there's a YouTuber I think you should hook up with about some of the stuff you were doing with Joseph Smith and the information available at the time. The channel's called Esoterica. It's run by Dr. Justin Sledge, who has a degree in essentially esoteric and like modern interpretations of like medieval on through mystic items, and actually does some history on that. One of his speeches, he mentioned that he felt that Joseph Smith had probably had some contact with a book called the Magus, which may have done some influence, and that's also one of those places I believe where the layman had come from. That was the Talisman of Jupiter, I think.
Oh,
yeah. So if you're more interested in figuring out that side, and you didn't already have some leads on some of the books that might have been available around that time and in that century, he might be a good lead to try and ask or reach out to.
How do you spell that? That's a
well, in
pretty
that regard, in that regard, Mike Quinn's book, Early Mormonism and the Magic Worldview, goes into those things. And in our little book on Mormonism, Magic, and Masonry, we go into the layman's and the
I put it up in the private chat for you, Randy, for the YouTube channel. And the the guy's name is Dr. Justin Sledge.
beautiful. I appreciate that. I get these tips once in a while, and they're of tremendous help. So I genuinely appreciate that. And I'm going to take a picture.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anyone mention that, and I was like, throw it at you, might be useful. Hopefully, it is.
I think it will be. This Dartmouth stuff. I've gotten a lot of kickback from Midnight Mormons or whatever. What are they called now? Who knows?
Psych Ward Radio, I think is.
It's Ward Radio. Ward Radio. Yep.
Yeah. Well, basically across the board. The other one is Jonathan Neville, who went ape. He put up 4 websites to control the robots that populate AI to change the narrative that the Mormon Church itself has on its official website to his narrative, which is this BS lie that Joseph Smith only attended Dartmouth for 1 quarter and took a math class in 1814. I mean, these guys will stop at nothing to deceive and manipulate the data.
Yeah, it almost feels like Scientology and fair gaming.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. I know that someone else had I don't know where RFM went, but someone else had a question. Diamond Dave, I believe you had a question.
Yeah, I had a question for Sandra. So living in Mongolia, they're building a temple here. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I know some well-connected people who want to know more about the LDS Church. And since you are the queen of knowledge of the LDS Church, I'm wondering if there's any specific videos that you can refer me to that I could send to these individuals so they have a better understanding of the foreign institution that is attempting to expand here.
Well, I think that John DeLynne's series on, what do they call it, Mormon discussion or whatever, where he's going through all the Mormon history.
LDS discussions.
LDS discussion. I think that has a lot of good sessions in it.
I was thinking the God Makers. What about that old VHS tape?
Oh, well, no. Let's not resurrect that one.
I think the ghost of Ed Decker would like it to be shown to the Mongolian government.
That really scare him.
It was the Hanna-Barbera style animation in that was really chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I've seen John Dolan's stuff, and I'm kind of sifting through that, but I didn't know if Sandra, you had any recommendations.
I know. Well, Bill and RFM have done some good basic summaries of the history, origins, and those areas. So you might want to look at, I don't know, RFM, if you have a particular stream of those that you're calling for where you're going through the history stuff.
No, actually, I'm sorry, I don't. I think Bill's doing something with it.
Yeah.
So he might be the person to ask on that.
Yeah.
But I know he wants Sandra's because, of course, your opinion is highly respected.
Yeah, well, you can watch a bunch of my stuff that I did on with John DeLynne. But yeah, for a one shot overview, I'm not sure what would be best.
No, and that's perfectly fine. We've just had family here for the Nottingham Festival, and I explained to them that part of the reason why the Mormon Church is able to do what it does is they're not here on a religious visa to proselyte. They're either on a type C humanitarian visa to do charity work, or they're on a C9 volunteer visa, which is basically a volunteer visa to teach English. So some of my family members have expressed interest in wanting to know exactly what they're about, because that, according to immigration law, is pushing the line. So they're just kind of curious.
Yeah, well, there's been a number of videos on the church's finances that are really telling. I mean, I would be very concerned about the Mormon church coming into my country when it's got hidden agendas. And
I've got those stockpiled and ready to go already.
Yeah,
so.
and where their
those were the
finances aren't
first.
open.
Those were some of the first.
Yeah.
What do you think those hidden agendas might be, Sandra?
Take over the world.
Okay.
Set up the political kingdom of God.
I mean, yeah, that was going to be my answer. It would be defined under the Criminal Code of Mongolia and other countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, Singapore, as what's known as cultural subversion, right? So you're basically teaching the young people to adopt a foreign ideology that is not the native culture that many countries, not just here, but like globally, many cultures are very adamant about preserving.
Why not explain to operatives within the Mongolian government that the church is known to withhold documents from its members, it's known to deceive its members, it's known to deceive the governments in which it operates under the auspices of, and on and on and on. There's no need for documentary proof in the form of a quick one shot.
I would say most of that doesn't matter. The only thing that would matter is the government being deceived. Everything else they would not care about.
Well, then the government will have to set a trap that they know that the LDS personnel are going to fall for. If that's
what I can tell you is that, like in countries like here, in many countries here in Asia, they are heavily regulated and heavily monitored. So, in order for the government or just anyone, even not even like law enforcement, I'm thinking more of like immigration, right? Because that's the lowest hanging fruit, right? In order to prove to any immigration agency that you're violating your visa, which is the lowest hanging fruit, you have to demonstrate some type of thing. And just because the Mormon church has been proven to do it in other countries, that does raise eyebrows, but that doesn't mean they're doing it here. You have to prove they do it here.
You could follow missionaries around and take pictures showing all the charitable work they do.
Yeah.
What if you, I mean, thinking back to like Joseph Smith and how he would have women and other people do his errand of proposing to new wives, so it couldn't be traced. So he would have, so he could deny it. I wonder if there is relevancy in the church deceiving its members, because I'm confident I don't know what to call them, missionaries, service missionaries, people there immersed.
Service missionaries.
Right, whatever. That they do not know enough about the agreement, and they're kept in the dark enough that they are more likely to transgress the law and not realize they're doing it. And it also creates a safe little bit, like a little bit of disconnect from the church, I guess. Oh, we didn't know, we told them, but those young kids aren't going to argue with the church. No, they didn't tell us that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
it's more likely the law will be broken, right? If the people out there don't know about.
Just because the law is more likely to be broken does not mean the law has been broken here, right? And that's the key thing with, again, I'm not even talking about like criminal level, I'm talking immigration level. You have to prove the law has been broken, not someone is more likely to be broken. Because, I mean, we already have digital ID. We have AI flock cameras all over the place that monitor how you move, how you walk, where you spend your money, that kind of a thing. Just because you're more likely to commit a crime does not mean you have committed a crime. And just because you're more likely to violate immigration law does not mean, you know, even if you create an environment where, yes, the Mormon Church, you can make a case that to immigration that you're more likely to commit immigration violations. That does not automatically mean immigration law has been violated. You have to prove that. And that's why I was looking for if there's anything that can be demonstrated, because I'm already monitoring things on like this side, and I have like friends and family in other countries that are kind of watching things. But you have to be very, very careful with that too, because you can't make faulty accusations. You need some type of evidence, or you need some type of proof that the law has been violated. So that's why
we'll be looking forward to seeing what happens with that mission president, whether he makes his way back. I guess they got another one who's taken his place already, but whether that changes.
It's a mission split, so it's not taking his place. So I got his name, I found his LinkedIn, I see all of his certificate. I sent it to Rebecca Biblioteca. I sent all his information that I found on him. So yeah, and again, that's why I'm just kind of curious, because obviously I'm not making accusations against anyone. I don't personally care. The only time I would care is if the law has been broken. But at the same time, knowing how the church operates, and like you said, knowing that they're more likely to commit, break the law in the United States, the violations, I'm just kind of poking around for information to give to concerned parties to see if any laws have been broken here. That's it.
Got it. Hey, it's 2:31, 2 hours and 31 minutes. We've been swinging this cat around. Everybody, I think we've done our due diligence.
I think I'm done.
You have been a peach, Sandra D. That's what you should tell them that your name is. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. I won't complete that. But everybody, RB, Randy Bell Beach Bum, thank you for being here. Therapy Pause, great to see you. Nunya, there you are. I don't know if I've ever seen you, but I'm not going to ask the question right now. Laura, there's Laura.
You drew his picture,
Hi, Laura.
Remember? You drew his...
it was the spitting image of me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And then Sandra, great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Dow in North Central Texas. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Tanner. Thank you so much. And may God bless you.
Right,
You're just such a beautiful person. I know this is super parasocial, but man, you're an inspiration. And I've never been Mormon. Yeah. But your integrity, your faith, your brilliance. May God bless you.
Thank you.
And Diamond Dave joining us from Mongolia. That's great. And Alex the Nevermo here. Thank you, everybody. All the people who were here and are not, and everybody who joined us in the live chat, and everybody who didn't join us in the live chat, and everybody's watching us on the replay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I look forward to joining you next Friday at 8:00 p.m. Mountain Time for another episode of Mormonism After Dark. Once again, thanks, everybody. It's been wonderful. Have a great week.
RFM. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, RFM.
Good night.